Hey, how's it going? Well, over here in the Delulu land that I live in, that I was not welcoming for myself because I don't like living in Delulu. But the space that I'm in, I've been getting an overwhelming call to talk about a few different things. To start, there's been a lot of ego attacks. There's been a lot of externally searching for things that the soul knows is already within, and doesn't need to go outside of itself to look for. There's been a lot of the notion of imposter syndrome. And this might sound a little like delulu, right? But I'm picking up on energies that are like decent, good people who have gotten sidetracked by the materialistic things that they can get. And I'm not just talking about the everyday things that people can get, because this is a spiritual channel. So let's understand that it's not just material wealth does not just mean cars, money, things of that nature. There is an entity that has been infiltrating this, I guess people want to call it 3D world that we lived in. When we was younger, we just called it Earth. But now things have elevated. So there's a lot of energies out here that are trying to take bodies. They're trying to bring people to a place where they forget who they are and what their callings have actually been. There's an overwhelming feeling of that. I honestly, for a while, really just kind of thought it was me. As I started noticing these things more, it just kind of became more apparent to me that, what's the Tupac song? I was given this world, I didn't make it. So if these things were already happening and it's just that the veil is thinning, so it's being revealed, that was the moment I had to realize this shit been going on. It just now, because with technology, and I'm hearing we cannot blame technology. The technology was here. It was sent for, I don't want to say sent for us. It was given to us as a tool. And the thing with anything else, even love can be used as a tool. It's not about the tool, it's about the hand that wields the tool. So if, say for instance, there is this energy that is trying to bring you down, for instance, like me in particular, this is something, a battle that I'm literally fighting damn near every day. I have to wake up and fight off the energies of laziness, of procrastination, of I can't do this, I can't do that. I have to fight this shit off every day. There's people who are allowing these demons to rule their life. And then what they do, because the cogs have been so well greased, it just seems like things are flowing. Say for instance, and this is me being on the outside of the box and looking in, I see a lot of people vibing with one another. A lot of people are just you like the color red? I like the color red. We're best friends forever. I'm noticing a lot of this because I'm in a couple of different groups. I haven't said much in the groups because I'm picking up on a lot of that fake shit. It's people just not acknowledging the fact that, hey, you know what? I feel empty in this area of my life. Your vibe seems like it can fill my hole. Do you mind if I use you? It would sound so bad, and there's a way where you can talk to somebody and be honest about what you're actually experiencing and what you're going through. There's a way that you can do that where it doesn't involve letting fucking all hell break loose on the earth plane because said person doesn't want to do the work. And when I started off and I was saying that there's been a lot of ego attacks put against me. There's a lot of mental attacks, physical attacks. I went to take a nap yesterday. I woke up, it felt like the fucking world like just landed on top of me. Like I literally had to fight through energies just to get up from my nap. Like these demons are working overtime, and so many people are just allowing them to fester in and around them. A lot of them call it in the name of love, or say that, oh well, I've been with this person for so long, or they just been so nice to me, I can't cut them off. Like, sure, but how do you really feel? Like, how is that really affecting you by being so nice to these people who are treating you like shit and not valuing your presence? I noticed a lot of energies are drawn to my energy, or whatever this energy is that I carry, because I'm just at the point where I'm renouncing all this shit. Like, I'm not about to let this shit take me down. I didn't get born here just for you to drown me. The fuck? If that's how I'm gonna die, that's how I'm gonna die, but I'm not about to live like that. But I noticed that a lot of energies are attracted to my energy. Not necessarily me. It's just like they just want to kind of be in the energy of where I'm at. And that's very disheartening for me. I used to be a person who was the idea of I love love. Like, and I don't know if you saw my face. I'm like disgusted a little bit at the notion, because it's like, and to each his own. If you don't like what I'm saying, you ain't got to listen. But loving, the idea of love is not the same as being love or giving or receiving love. It's not the same. Because I can be in love with having a roof over my head. That don't mean I like the apartment I'm living in, right? I can be in love with love, but that don't mean I like the way that love is being presented to me. So I had to really let go of that notion of just, I'm just so in love with love, and whatever it looks like, I'm just going to take it and accept it. No, thank you. No, thank you. Like, if it's not wholehearted love, I don't want it. And if it's something just coming to me because it understands that at some point in my journey, that is where I was, like, I can see people walking down the street holding hands, and I would, oh my God, it's so cute. And then I went through the dark night of the soul. So now I see that shit, and in my brain, I'm like, why are you showing me this? You know what I'm saying? Like, partially from a place because I have been hurt by this same notion that's trying to continue to perpetuate itself. Like that egotistical mindset. Oh, you love seeing love? Let me show you more of it. Like, so when I had to really step back and just be like, okay, ego, checkmate, bitch. Because I've already pushed you in the corner. That's why you keep trying to push back. And instead of just understanding that where you are and where you think I am are not in the same space, you want to try to blend the energies and listen to all these other people out here talking about integrate the shadow, integrate your dark side, do this and do that, right? If you the light, how you going to integrate the shadow? Somebody need to explain that one to me. How can the light integrate the shadow? It cannot. The light can only illuminate the shadow. You can't integrate it. As far as the ego and integrating the ego, once we understand that the ego and the shadow are two different things, they just sometimes look very similar if they go unchecked. Once we understand that there is a need for your ego has a purpose. Your ego was made to protect you. But your ego is only going to protect the identity that it most resonate with because it's comfortable. Now, there's many times where people have said things to me that I didn't resonate with. But some part of my mind thought about it and processed it. And my ego was like, oh, well, since she thought it and processed it, that must mean she believes it. Because that's how my mind operated for a long time. Like, I just took certain things in, and if they made sense, I went with it. And instead of the shadow version of my ego understanding, because it doesn't want to understand, it just wants to do what feels comfortable. So it felt comfortable for that part of my ego to just be like, oh, she's going to just take that because it sounds good to her. because words of affirmation was my love language, because I didn't see or receive any words of affirmation coming through. So that's why for a long time I operated in an understanding that words of affirmations was my main love language. All you got to do is say something sweet to me. No, that was a trauma response. That was a trauma response for me personally, because I understand that we tend to seek the things that we hadn't received before. And I'm not going to sit on here on the soapbox and talk about my sad childhood and shit like that. It was sad. It was. But here I am 30 years later and I'm still standing. Better than I ever did. I can't think of that something. I'm still standing. I am. So if I'm still standing, yeah, I'm going to just let that thought just go. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to break that down no more. But just understanding that there is a need for the ego. And it is not to service other people. Especially from my refined people pleasers. The people who were... Because let's be honest. Nobody is a people pleaser because they want to. Nobody sacrifices themselves because they want to. I don't want to hear nobody talking about, oh, I'm a single mom, so I had to sacrifice this and sacrifice that. What are you really doing? Are you sacrificing anything for real? Or are you just doing what you were called to do as a mother? Because again, there are differences in these things. And with everything coming out now, people do need to understand that your words do make a difference. Your words do matter. But if you're saying stuff that your conscious mind or your subconscious is like, bitch, we not sacrificing, we wanted to do this, what are you talking about? It's not a sacrifice. Then you're gonna be at odds with yourself. So, and like the other thing, like I said, because it's a lot of ego driven activities going on. So, you know, my TikTok is filled with people just on their high horse. I can't say it another way right now. Like, I'm not able to find another way to say it. But it's a lot of people on their high horse. Like, I've experienced this, so do it this way. I've experienced this, so do it that way. That's fine, because what am I doing? You know what I'm saying? I'm going through an experience. I've experienced something. Now I'm talking to you and sharing my experiences with you. That's fine. Where the problem comes in is where your mind or your ego or whatever it is that is attacking you or trying to attack you tries to make it seem like you have to follow what they're saying because it sounds good. Just like, and can touch on it because it's been, something that I've dealt with a lot as well. Like being with somebody intimately because they look good. That's a real ass problem. That is a whole problem. Like, I did not understand the severity of the consequences of just being with people because they look good, or giving wholeheartedly to a situation that looks good but knowing damn well it's going to fucking fall through. Like, there was really... And I'm still going through this like moment of reckoning and awakening to the bullshit that was there and that presented itself. Like, excuse me, to be honest, speaking of bullshit, I didn't even hear of the word gaslight until after COVID. Like, I've never ever heard of the word gaslight. I heard of the word narcissist, but never to this extent. And all of a sudden, after COVID, all you hear is, oh, they're gaslighting you. They're narcissists. They're this, they're that. But during COVID, wasn't everybody at home with themselves and their immediate family? So why is it that now all of a sudden after COVID, after everybody then came out of the whatever, I want to say came out of the darkness, but it's like these bitches are still in the dark. But like, why is it that after everybody spent so much time at home, away from other people. Now all of a sudden gaslighting is the big thing. Everybody getting everybody getting gaslight. Protect yourself, protect your energy, all this, blah blah blah. Why did everybody figure this out after they were in isolation? After we were so disconnected physically but reconnected through technology. Why all of a sudden now? And is it really us doing this, or is that wheel that's been greased so well that some of you people like to call it the Matrix, which I just happen to look at and be like, that's just life, but okay, sure, we're in the Matrix. Let's go with that idea, right? So if you, person, viewer, whoever, or you know somebody who goes about their day every day, do the same shit, complain about the same shit, go home, don't do anything about their situation, but call you up and be complaining about their coworkers, their mom, and whoever else they can think of they want to complain about. And they keep coming to you with this over and over and over again. Aren't both of y'all guilty? Both of y'all are being narcissistic, because that person is being narcissistic about the fact that they only want to use you. They only want to take up your energy and your time. They only want to make it seem like they're the victim and they're just so hurt because circumstances are harming them or keeping them down. And then here you are on the other hand, just being a listening ear because you're being nice. So, and then you don't want to hurt them or confront them because you're being nice, right? So both of y'all are narcissists, right? Is that why everybody all of a sudden know what narcissistic tendencies is? Because they had to sit at home with themselves for 2.5 years, 3 years, or however the fuck long COVID was. Because I was already going through the dark night of my soul before COVID hit. COVID was just like, I was already going through it when COVID hit. So to me, it just felt like an expression of what I was already going through when COVID hit. Because that's just what it felt like. My connection to myself and who I and my ego thought I was so severely shooken to our core, quite literally shaken to my core. It was so shaken that when COVID came, I was just like, yep, that makes sense. That makes sense. And to truly, the part about it that was kind of fucked up for me is that I ended up having to work the whole time during COVID. You know what I'm saying? I was one of the essential people. Where was I working? Fucking Amazon warehouse. And as soon as COVID was over, the motherfuckers did everything they can to get me fired. And my ego did get me fired. It did. It got me fired and then turned around and said, I need you to have more faith in me. Like, bitch, you got me fired. And I was told you what the plan was. And don't even get me started on that. Because then I'm here, oh, well, God's, sometimes the plan doesn't go as you see and blah, blah, blah. And then sometimes the mind gets in the fucking way of what the plan actually is that the motherfucker was trying to tell him and they didn't want to hear it. So, like I said, I ended up having to work the whole time through COVID. So I didn't get to have the sitting at home and meditating on my life and figure shit out. No, I just had to be at work with a whole bunch of energies that did not like me but couldn't understand why they was attracted to me. That's the worst. For me, that is the worst. To have somebody attracted to your energy and they don't really like you, but they don't want to address the reasons why they are attracted to you because it's going to require them to grow. Which is what they say the ego is. Why an egotistical man doesn't want to accept help from a woman or their helpmate. Because that means that they have to actually grow. So I sat in that warehouse for 10 hours a day being bombarded by energies that just only wanted to be in my energy field. Bombarded by this egotistical mindset that says you're only valuable if you're working. That's ego. Because did I come out the womb working? I didn't have a job when I was born. I didn't get a job until I got my first job when I was 14 years old. So you mean to tell me between the ages of birth and 14, I wasn't a valuable member of society? So that's where a lot of I'm hearing the word cognitive dissonance is coming in, because it's like people just accepting truths that don't even align with who they really are. Like just taking it for face value. And like I said, I've been there. I am definitely the type of woman where I will see a man and I will, if I find him attractive, I will fantasize about him. I sure will. It's a couple of guys that's still on my bucket list. Don't get it twisted. I'm still a woman at the end, middle, and the beginning of the day. There's still a bunch of them on my bucket list of to-dos. But what I understand in this awakening, whether it be the truth or not, is still part of my reality, is that I don't have to give that any energy. I don't have to give any energy to any person, place, or thing that either is not authentic, which to me is the highest form of love. Just being authentic, showing who you really are, expressing yourself, and not giving a fuck what anybody thinks. But if I'm constantly on social media, and don't get it twisted, because some people genuinely just take things at face value, as they should. Like social media, don't take that shit seriously. Don't. Because it was put there to program you in a certain way. All of these things that are happening in your life are strategically placed. None of this shit is an accident. And if you want to keep going about your life and be like, oh, I didn't mean for this to happen. Yeah, you did. On some level, you definitely did. And I have to come to that reckoning with myself every day. Like, so I called this into my being. I called this bullshit to me. Why is this bullshit happening? Because I wanted to please somebody so bad that wasn't even there. The fucked up part about it is, when I actually look and understand myself for who I am and what it is that I know, I was always seeking for the love of God. Because I didn't feel like I was worth it. Because wasn't nobody telling me that. Wasn't nobody making me feel loved or giving me the energy of love growing up. There was none of that. I had to constantly be on the lookout to make sure that I wasn't going to be hurt. So I was constantly looking for the hurt so I can avoid it, thinking all those years that was me facing my fears. And here's the universe coming back at me like, yeah, rerouting, because that wasn't you facing your fears. That was you just bringing the fears on, which is literally what I have done to myself. Like, in this dark night of my soul, I brought on pretty much every fear that I've had. I'm not going to be loved. I'm not going to be able to take care of myself. I'm going to be alone. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Like, there were so many things that I was saying to myself or about myself that I have really come to Jesus moment. Like, God, I'm sorry. I don't know why I was lying to you like that so much. I don't know. Like, I've always had the feeling, and I just had this realization a couple of days ago. Like, I used to say, people always come to me for advice. They always doting on me. Not dote. I don't think we're doting on me. They always dumping on me. That's what I was trying to say. I had to look back and had to realize, girl, you had one friend who did that shit to you. One. Now, granted, because of the person that I am, I do well in big environments like concerts and shit. I can do that because I understand how to manipulate that energy. But like, if I'm just in a group, like, and we just in a classroom or something, I can't do that, because it's overwhelming for my system. Until I actually learn how to be in those environments. Or maybe it's not meant for me to learn that. Maybe it's just meant for me to understand myself and understand where I can and where I shouldn't go. So there's a lot of that just blatant disregard for understanding how much we can take or what we should take. And that's from an ego point of view, an egotistical point of view. Like, I can save the world. Pause for the cause, my guy. What do you mean you can save the world? You can barely get out of your own bed and brush your teeth in the morning. How you gonna save the world? Like, and the thing about it is, your gifts, the things that you've been given, the things that you call yourself understanding about yourself, I don't really go with this notion of like it beating you upside your head. Like, I don't see your calling like abusing you to get his point across. That's the ego. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, you're not gonna find. I just don't foresee, or I don't believe that if there's a gift of mine that I have, like I have the gift of empathy. My empathy is not going to kick my ass and, beat me up and drain my energy. No, it's my mind and my ego's way of using my empathy that is draining. But my empathy, the actual gift of empathy, is not going to drain you or hurt you. It's the same thing when people say love hurts. Love does not hurt. It does not hurt. When people misuse or misjudge or do things that just go against what the actual meaning of love is, when they go against that, they hurt themselves. And then they say, oh, love hurt me. Like, say, for instance, one of the things that I'm actively doing shadow work to release is I had an ex-boyfriend who, when I first saw him, I wasn't that attracted to him, but I felt something in my heart. Catch that, right? I felt something in my heart, and I thought it was a calling to be with that person. Just because I felt something in my heart. Within a month, I ended up sleeping with him. And then within probably a month or so of, it couldn't have been no more than 3 months into the relationship, I found out he was a cheater. Like a serial cheater. Like, lying on his mother being sick so he can go fuck somebody else type cheater. Like, it was real bad. Like, terrible. And the day that I found out about him being a cheater, right? Catch this, right? I called my cheating ass daddy to get some advice. Where they do that at? It's like asking the cheater what I should do about him being a cheater. Excuse me, I got excited about that because I just realized I really did do that dumb shit. Like, I called the cheater to ask the cheater about what I should do about the cheater. But he told me the truth. He said, walk away. He did. He definitely did. He told me to walk away. And guess what I didn't do? I know I stayed with him. We were together for 2 years because I can't lie, and neither does psychology. It takes 2 to 4 years to get to really know somebody. And I really got to know myself. And it got to the point where I can't take this. You know you don't deserve this shit. Why the fuck are you still in this relationship? Walk the fuck away. It took me a while to figure that out. But I did. And when I tell you, when I left him, I never thought about it again. Not from a... And that's kind of... It's kind of not the best because I should have processed it a little bit more. But, once I broke up with him, here come... insert devil number 3 at this point. Insert devil number 3 into my life. And then he catapulted me into the dark night of my soul. So, it was like I didn't really have a chance to process what I was really feeling and going on. And then when I had to actually be forced to work through those things, that's when the egotistical part of their energy started kicking in and started kicking my ass, because I wasn't giving them the same attention. I wasn't feeding them the opposite of what they were feeding me. So it was almost like the energy wanted me. It wanted me to learn so much, like learn the lesson, learn the lesson, learn the lesson. And I was like, well, give me a different course. And it wouldn't do it. So I'm like, fine, what's the lesson? I bet you this motherfucker still ain't showed me the lesson. It still ain't. But this egotistical brat is still in my goddamn energy field. Like, why aren't you feeding me anymore? I was never feeding you from the beginning. My ego was just sadly twisted and mistaken. But they're overall, and it does pain me to say it, because some of these people are genuinely out here just trying to like live their life just like I am. And a lot of them don't see the demons that are on them, the things, the shadows that are like, I'm being shown images in my head right now of people who I'm assuming that my ego wants to, infiltrate, or the ego, whatever this is, like when a situation just gets played out too long. Or like you, like, right, I just had the thought, like when you watch a movie over and over again, so now you're able to like say the words in the movie because you know what the fuck is going on at this point because you've seen it for so goddamn long. It's like, it's like it almost wants me. It wants that little girl in me to be like, no, I'll save them. And the little girl in me is sitting there like, are y'all done lying on me? Because I'm not doing none of that shit. That's the ego, the healthy ego, because my healthy ego knows that I need to be pouring that energy into myself. When people say it's wrong for people to be selfish, that's what the ego is for. The ego is to remind you of where you're not being selfish enough, where you're not pouring enough into yourself, and you're giving into these ideas and entities and ideologies that are draining you, because they're not allowing you to think of anything else but them, because they think that that's what your energy was doing. But again, there's the kicker. Since they only wanted to be in your energy and they weren't doing anything to actually find out who you were or what you were about, they just saw something shiny and was like, ew, let me take that. And then now they're trying to figure it out and they want to come back in. Make it make sense, my guy. Make it make sense. I heard a video the other day where the guy was like, don't burn the bridge and expect me to, rebuild it or something like that. And I felt the energy from the message. I felt the ego from the message, not from the person who was actually saying that, but I felt the ego of my mind trying to like confuse the situation, trying to make it seem like I missed out on something, or I could possibly miss out on something if I don't accept this bull crap that it's trying to give me. It's like constantly being reminded of that commercial, like, I got you $1. Like this egotistical bullshit is like really at a point where it's trying to break down everything because it wants to be so smart, because that's what it's been doing. It's been ciphering the energy of us independent thinkers, as people who are actually doing the work and putting in the effort, and then it like AIs it and like photocopies it on other people, and it's sickening. And I feel that part of my energy wants me to be sympathetic. It doesn't want my empathy, because if it wanted my empathy, it will be getting it just like this. Like, I'm not giving you a damn thing, my guy, my girl. None of it. You're not getting a thing from me anymore. Period. And a lot of us in general need to just recognize that you are not being valued where you are. You're not. Whether it be your physical dwelling, whether it be the city you live in, whether it be the energies that's been codependent on you this whole time, that's just now showing their ass, and because you want to walk away, they being real extra because you want to walk away because you found your worth. That is depressing in itself to have to think about. Like, I'm just really working my best to be patient with myself, because like, even having to process that thought, like, you mad at me because I found out who I was and I liked it? That is so sad for you. Stay the fuck over there with that shit though. Like, you're not gonna get sympathy for me. You're not gonna get let me console you and make you feel better. Let me give some more so maybe you'll fit. No, nigga. Like, I was on a walk the other day and I heard that, like, that thought came into my mind again about what is that song? It's a song where it's like, when you realize a person was just taking your love because they didn't have their own or they needed it or something. And I'm just like, I know that's not the truth. I know that's a gaslighted idea. I know that's not the truth, because you're not about to tell me after 9 years of going through this dark night, now you want me to come out of this side and just give you my heart because you need it? See, these energies is delusional. Like, they're super delusional. Like, how can you ever expect for somebody that you burnt the bridge? You initially burnt the bridge. And then you want me to rebuild it with the parts of my psyche that are actually healthy so your crazy ass energy can come in and infiltrate me? That's wild. That's wild. But that's the shit the ego does. The unhealthy, toxic ego. That's the shit it does when it gets into your mind and it has this little stupid ass voice in your ear that keep telling you, betray yourself. You're not worthy. You can't do this on your own. And the ego keep feeding into that, like, yeah, keep feeding her. She can't feed herself. And you just sitting there like, are y'all done yet? Because if y'all actually step back and step the fuck out of my life and what the hell I got going on, y'all might actually be able to clean up some of this mess. Instead of just making a bigger mess because you so concerned about what the fuck I got going on over here. Amazing. Amazing. So, yeah, I just wanted to, I am, like, working to explain my perspective of this situation, because this shit is just constantly, like, it's gonna be information coming at you everywhere. But I still stand on the notion that knowledge is not power. It's only powerful when you actually apply the knowledge. And let me give the kudos to the ego right now. Good job, ego. You've taken your role. You've learned the person. And then you start abusing them because of what you learned. Yeah, you're real powerful, ego. You're real powerful. Good job. Let me know how that works out when it all falls apart. And then you want to come back to the person who was there in the first fucking place. Like, that's how I look at this toxic energy. Like, nigga, the bridge was there from the jump. And you burnt it down because you thought you knew better. You thought your way was the only way. And you was the only one that could make this right. And then when you saw that person was doing better without you, was living their life healthy, probably working out, eating well, just relationships flowing. And then here come the ego because it's mad. It wants to be angry. I'm so angry. Why you angry? Why you angry? Why you so mad? And then they don't want to answer the question. Like, that's when I just really get to the point with the ego where I'm just like, you're a fucking child. You're a child. And I don't date children. I don't make business plans with children unless it's my own kid. I don't make business plans with people, with children. I don't, what I'm saying? Like, there's just no reason for anybody to be that self-serving. There's just no reason for it. Because, again, and I ask this question to my ego, to my mind, to all the egotistical people, or all the, like, just to the ego in the world, the societal ego. What are you getting out of this? Like, what's the point? You want domination so you can do what with it? Because you're going to end up being alone. Was you going to Thanos us all and then just go live on a planet and rock by yourself and stare off into the sunset? Like, what is the fucking point? I just, and I feel like it wants me to laugh. And I'm just like, what's the point, bruh? What's the point? So, I personally think that people should be more aware of themselves. And my hope is that somebody can actually help to raise this consciousness. I was about to say conversation. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not, you can't have one-sided conversations and think that you're gonna get anywhere in the world. You can have, get advice from yourself and insight. You talk to yourself all you want to. But one-sided conversations, like seeking out people who don't actually see you for who you are, or don't actually acknowledge themselves and who they are, those are one-sided conversations between you and your ego. Because you know damn well that person is not emotionally fit to be with you, or fit to actually understand what it is that you're going through. So it ends up being a one-sided conversation. I know I've had one too many of them. One too many of them. So, like I was saying, I think it would be of service to us all if, one, the ego stepped the fuck out of the way and took its rightful place. Two, people would actually be more concerned about why their lives are taking the routes that they're taking, why the people are being brought to them. Why are you drawn to watch that particular movie that you're watching? Why are you drawn to listen to that music? Why do you feel the need to scroll social media? What are you looking for, right? If people actually took the time to acknowledge that, and I'm not saying you got to come up with a profound answer. Like me, I just had the question suggested to me. Why you scrolling social media? Because I don't want to do nothing else right now. Or because what it is that I want to do, I don't feel safe enough to do that thing. So I'm going to revert to the ego game and scroll social media. Because I don't feel safe enough to make something else happen. That's my personal truth right now. So again, more people were aware instead of just, oh, I like her stuff, I'm gonna take hers and do that. Why? What is it that you're looking for? And that's not, I know my voice can sometimes come off, I want to say the word condescending. It's not. Genuinely be asking people, like, why do you want to be like that person? Why do you want to be like that? Like, I have to ask myself, why do you want to be so spiritual? What is it about spirituality that attracts you? It sounds like I'm being harsh. Some of these energies call me mean a lot. I hear it in the ethers. I have claircognizant, I can't think of which clair it is. I can hear through the bullshit. I can hear messages when I need them. Again, the ego knows that, and it likes to use it to its advantage. Good job, ego. Another round of applause. You fucked yourself over, my guy. Good job. But anyways, just asking yourself these questions, not because you're being mean or because you coming down on yourself, but because you need to understand yourself. You need to understand why you're doing these things, especially if you keep repeating the same patterns and the things keep coming back at you trying to make you repeat the same patterns, and you like, hold on. Why am I doing this? What is this happening for? What is this bringing to me? What is this giving to me? Is it giving anything to me? Which God are you serving? Are you serving the ego or are you serving God? And also remember, I am reminded to add to all of my empaths and people and highly sensitive people who are still listening to this point, you don't owe them nothing. You don't. There is nothing. You don't even owe yourself anything. But that love, and I use the love term loosely, because you know it wasn't love. You know it wasn't love, what you was giving them. You know it wasn't. You got to be honest with yourself about that shit. And just let it flow. Whatever the consequences going to be, you have to face those consequences. You have to walk in that authority. And understand, the universe ain't no punk. The universe ain't no bitch. You can't just run over the universe and think that everything is going to be cool. No, karma is real. And sometimes karma comes in the face of that cute little baby you just got that's going to grow up to be a fucking menace to society. Sometimes karma comes in the way of that new job that you got that you're going to end up being stuck in for the next 50 years because you can't find your way out of it. Sometimes karma comes dressed as that sexy ass bad bitch who just walked into your life and looked like she got everything going from head to toe, nail, hair, popping. She just looking good. And then you find out a few years later she ain't got shit in her fucking brain and she got rats in her heart. Sometimes karma comes that way. So if you want to keep standing in that authority, and I say this to all of my people, not just the ego, to all of you, you want to keep standing, you want to stand in what you're standing in, stand in that shit and take authority in it. But don't come knocking at the doors of people who told you what the fuck was going to happen from the beginning and expect them to just keep lending you a sympathetic ear. Don't do that. Don't do that. These people be out here trying to give y'all the tea. They be trying to help y'all to understand what the fuck is going on. Because what better person to tell you about what's going on in your life than an unbiased outside source? I'm not talking about going to your mama or your best friend. I'm talking about when you go to your therapist or when you go to some stranger or when you come to me to get a tarot reading. When you go to those people who don't have no emotional connection to you, no nothing, and they just give you the truth and you don't want to take it, that's on you, boo-boo. But don't come back at them, try to throw hexes and curses and psychic attacks and all that other shit at them because all they was doing was speaking the truth. And I'm saying that to me as well, for me. Don't come at me when you realize I was only speaking the truth to you from the jump. Don't come for me. and don't come for my people. Just saying. And I say this. I've been saying it for the longest time. I say it to my son all the time. I say it to you guys. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. And then go around try to play the blame game and put it on everybody else. No, ma'am. I'd rather accept the responsibility of the shit that I'm in than sit up here scrounging the earth with revenge. Talking about, I'm going to find out who hurt me. Well, all you got to do is look in the mirror, sis. You'll discover everything you ever needed to know if you just look in your own fucking mirror. So, that's what I got for this video. I am always curious as to what you guys' input is. Again, that doesn't mean I'm going to just immediately take it or go with it. But I am very much... I grew up in a Christian church, so... Excuse me. I do believe that notion that when 2 or 3 are gathered, God is present. But that just means when like-minded people come together, the energy has somewhere to move. The energy has somewhere to either grow or transmute itself, which is still some type of growth. You can't go backwards. You're either staying where you are, which is death, or you're growing forward. So that's where that notion where 2 or 3 are gathered comes from. It's from understanding that that's how energy moves. It has to have some space to move. If you don't believe me, you wanna trade shoes for a day? Joking, almost. But genuinely, I genuinely mean this, from my heart. Stop coveting other people. Stop comparing yourself to other people. Stop letting your ego rule your life. Your ego don't know what the fuck you got going on for real. All your ego knows is comfort. Does this make me comfortable? And it could literally be you betraying yourself. And your ego is like, yeah, let's keep doing it. I'm cool here. What do you mean? What's wrong with that? And you just give them every reason under the fucking sun why it's a problem. And it's still like, no. Cut that shit. It's going to be difficult. It is. For some of you, it's going to be easier than others. For some of us, this shit is just unnaturally hard sometimes. I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, that's because your calling is this and that. No, because I don't know all that. I know what my birth chart say. I know what I felt my whole life. So yeah, I know on some level my calling is large. I understand that. But what I'm not going to do is be all pompous and be like, well, I'm in this position because I'm a chosen one. Yeah, you keep telling yourself that, and then you give God more reasons to piss you off because he going to keep giving you bullshit because you keep thinking that you going through all this shit because you a chosen one. We was all technically chosen, right? That's why we're here. So hop up off your high horse and allow yourself to be in your own lane. Stop letting these people fill your brain and your mind with all this pompous ass, cocky ass, arrogant, I own the fucking world type energy. If that's what gets you going, that's what gets your gears going, do it, baby. Again, stay over there with that. Because I don't like arrogant energy. I don't like that pompous ass, I'm the shit and you not. I like the subtle confidence. That's the shit that gets me. That's the shit that just makes my heart just ooh, I like it. You don't gotta be all up in people's face. You don't have to be gaudy. You don't have to walk around with all the there's people that's just this short of walking around with a fucking cross and a crown on their head talking about I'm Jesus. These people are really Delulu. This brings me back to my original point. You don't have to be Delulu. You don't. Your ego wants you to be because it doesn't know any other way. Doesn't. And even as I'm saying that, I'm feeling in my heart, I'm like, that's bullshit. Your ego do know a better way. It just don't want to do it. Which actually makes more sense. It does know. It just don't want to do the work. Just don't want to do the work. So, I implore you guys to do the work. Whatever that means to you. Stop letting these people tell you what your work is supposed to be or how you supposed to make things happen in your life, and follow your gut, follow your instincts, follow your heart, because you already got the roadmap. You already know how to use GPS when you get turned the wrong way. You already know how to do all these things for yourself, and your egotistical mind wants you to feel confused. It wants you to feel like that lost little girl who don't know where to go, or that little boy who's stuck somewhere in the wilderness and he can't see the dang forest. Like he can't see the trees for the forest. All he sees is all this forest around him, all this wood. I don't know where it is. That's all I see. It's like, bruh, look at the tree a little better. Was there any marks on that tree? You know what I'm saying? Like, tap into your survival skills. That shit is still in your mind. That shit is imprinted in your fucking DNA. If you was a warrior in a past life, you think that shit just gonna disappear? We was hunters, gatherers and shit. Well, we just forgot that? Or is your ego just lazy now because it can sit on the couch and watch TV with you? Use your fucking God-given gift. Your mind is a gift. Your brain, not even the mind, just look at the fucking brain. Your brain is a gift in itself. Granted, it's not keeping you alive, because your brain will have you fucked up out here, and people be so quick to call it love. Like, oh, my heart fucked my emotions. It wasn't your emotions that fucked you, dude. You might want to rethink and reevaluate and stop blaming it on other parts. Because for those of us who live out of our heart chakras, we don't appreciate you blaming us for your bullshit. Just saying. Just had to say that real quick because I really felt called to say that. Like, seriously. We don't appreciate y'all blaming us heart-centered people for y'all bullshit. Because y'all want to live in y'all root chakra, or y'all want to live in y'all fucking mind. Like, baby. It's not where it's at. So, I don't know. Like I was saying as I was wrapping this up, if you guys speak, you know? And I mean, like, genuine. Like, stop letting these devils and these evils in this world take you to where you don't want to go. If you don't want to be angry no more, then don't. You can express anger. You can feel anger without expressing it. And if you have no desire to express anger towards a thing, placing, or don't do it. That just means you have to learn how to do that work more for yourself so you can regulate and you can differentiate between your shit and they shit. Because it's all shit. The task of your life is to figure out which of this shit is the most important for you. You can't do that watching somebody else's TV. Sorry for the TV analogy, but when it's real, it's real. So, let me know what y'all think. Reach out. If you don't, I'm still going to be okay. Understand that. And I'll still be here. This video will still be here when you're ready. Me, on the other hand, I'm going to be out there somewhere. But I hope that this brings you some comfort and some type of understanding about the realities of your ego and yourself. Because they are not necessarily one and the same. They are not the same. And you should be okay with that. You definitely should. So, till next time, guys. Peace and love.